cemented more of my front logs for the channels, I'll have more free time to work on something like that as a silly project. Otherwise, round begins.
Just
Can't find
how
a
I
Twitch.
spawned in on Vagrant, and he has that netting on his head, but without any uniform. It just looked really scary.
What are you talking about? That's what you normally wear to the bedroom with Yanni's mom. Oh, I'm sorry, right. Yeah. I forgot we haven't told Yanni that yet. Anyway, mission info. This mission's made by Maz, and I'll go ahead and read it off. Background. Nova Russian forces have managed to pierce NATO lines to the north and the east. Czech airborne have been sent to fortify the city of Electro and make it a command center. They have had months to prepare and set up defenses, and now have received intel from High Command suggesting the Nova Russians seek to cut the head off of the Czech command in the area by assassinating the Czech command structure in Electro itself. Area of operation. Op4, be advised that several roads in Electro are blocked by Hedgehog anti-tank traps and debris. They are not marked on the map. Hills, woods, and urban combat, a nightmare flavor for every platoon leader. Ouch. Notes. Czech intel suggests that 2 Novo-Russian platoons are attacking the defenses at Electro today. Eastern scouts report they managed to destroy most of the armored platoon, but are unsure of the extent of the damage and if there are any survivors. The mechanized platoon was spotted over a day ago, and the scouts we sent in to investigate have failed to report back. It is safe to say that our command structure locations have been captured by the Novo-Russian forces. Game mode is going to be VIP Extermination, also known as HVT Hunt, also known simply as Assassination. This one was my idea originally, right?
I think that it has been in there before, but like it's worked off some of that, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to be like every other douchebag YouTuber and claim it was my idea completely. They paid me for this idea, and then I single-handedly snapped my fingers and made Maz do all the work, but I'm taking credit for it. JK.
Nice.
Anyway, we are going to have Schultz playing one of the HVTs, Blam and Cheese Tilster playing the other 2 VIPs. Otherwise, mission variables, just to note, no magnified optics, no NVG equipment. Build points are only going to be to 90 compared to the 125 standard. And the max view distance has been set to 938 meters. That's an oddly specific number. Nemesis, any reason for that?
Let's just be mass being weird.
Ah, okay. I mean, nothing new there.
He always ends it on 38 for some reason.
It's one of his signatures. But otherwise, Op4...
It's just like my signature on my mission, I guess, so...
Sadistic Liru erotic
mission, Liru?
ASMR. What?
What is my signature on my missions, Liru?
I don't remember, to be honest.
God damn it.
I'm sorry. I don't always catch them.
Always have a table for each team.
Ah, right. And I just dropped the ball. I was throwing around my hands. Whoops. Regardless, back to medium anti-tank settings per group. Both sides are going to be getting either RPG 32s or M3 Mozes with 2 AT rounds per. So per team, it's going to be 4. 2 for the AT gunner and 2 for the AT assistant. Looking over at Blue 4, we get nothing because Blue 4 is not here. We're going to start with Op 4.
Not showing anything? That's weird.
It's because it should be, it's Green 4 and Op 4, silly.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Duh. But anyway, new roster pictures again. We get to see what they all look like. Gonna break it down again. Platoon leader, sergeant for the platoon, basically the 2 IC. Squad leader, team leader, auto rifleman, assist auto rifleman, grenadier. Grenadier IR would mean infrared gunner, right? Like, what does GRIR mean, Nem?
GRIR?
Yes.
That's the Honda.
Yep, that's what I figured. Then you have machine gunner assistant, combat engineer, guys that get the explosives or mines, depending on what you choose. Light anti-tank gunner, MAT 1, MAT 2, because if you notice under MAT, there's 2 different ones here because sometimes they have the second one be AA or something else, depending on the scenario. Scrolling back down, you have the recon infantry and then the recon infantry scouts, the guys with the suppressed weapons. And then you have designated marksman, which for Op 4 is going to be the SVD that you see right there. Sniper, we'll probably get the T5000. And then crew leader, crewmen, pilots, medics, and base infantry kits. Loadouts for the Russians are going to be AK-74 based, RPK-74s with PKPs, RPG-26s for the light anti-tank, T-5000 sniper for the recon sniper, and then a choice for the 2 suppressed shooters of an AKS or an AS Val. The AKS gets 45-round magazines. Otherwise, Crew and Aviation get a choice of either the PP-2000 submachine gun or the AKS submachine gun as well. Nothing in the CSW, all crew. I'd imagine 3 squads are going to get a liaison of the MTLB, and the 4th squad will get control of the tank. If it is not put at the squad level, it'll just be put under its own asset under Gamma, which is more likely. Otherwise, 3 MTLBs with PKT turrets, so 200 and... No, okay, only 100 round boxes with 20 round max. Usually I see that sometimes with 200 or 250 round boxes, but in this case, it's just going to be 100 for 762x54 rounds. You got 2 transport trucks, 1 Gaz Tiger for transport, 1 closed Ural, and then you have your T-72A loaded. Oh, interesting. The commander gets...
We had it the last round last week. I think you're left for that, yeah.
So 6 AP rounds, 4 HE rounds, and 2 HEAT rounds. 2 boxes of 250 rounds for the PKT, and then the commander turret gets 39 rounds. I guess he was selling some of it to the black market. Interesting. Regardless, going over to look at Green 4 here. Over at the town of Electro. So many memories, mostly from DayZ. Uniforms? I love it. I know we sometimes have some reading issues on Twitch, you know? So it's great to see this massive text. C-Z period with another period below it, and then an M. And then, so it's Sism, Odern, Czech, Army, D-Fork, Eswo, Olden, Decam, O-Flag,
And reading is hard for someone, so that's why we have pictures.
Oh, that's great. See, I'm apparently word challenged, so that's why it's so big for me. I got platoon lead again. I already broke down all this, so they're just going to be basically with a woodland camo here. Do you want me to try reading that again, though? I could always use the practice. That's what my doctor says. Anyway, loadouts. We're going to see SA-58s with HK-416s, mini-me's with FN mags, so more on the British side. Actually, no, that's a lie. A lot of countries actually use that weapon breakdown, Czechs included.
Supposed to be Czech forces. So.
M72s as the light anti-tank, T5000 for the sniper, and then a choice of the Mark 14 or the AS Val. I'm going to be honest, between an integrally suppressed 9x39 at a limited range or a suppressed M14, I don't know why anyone would choose the AS Val in this case, because both of those you can turn full auto. No offense to Maz, but no reason for you to take the slightly bigger 9x39 if you also have access to an M14. That's just me personally. And then a Scorpion or a 416 for the crew and aviation. Custom CSW stuff, there's nothing. By the way, just for reference, this is where you would see things like static turrets assigned to the squad or like a mortar assigned to a specific squad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, crew surfer whims. So.
You know, you're exactly right. I forgot what CSW meant, so thank you. I'm an idiot. Anyway, they get a single Land Rover. They get, with an HMG, 3 transport Land Rovers that are closed, 2 static M2s, and an HMG Land Rover with, I think, the PKT on front as well, which is what the WIMIK stands for. I forget what it specifically is, but basically it has 2 guns on it. So it's even more of a fast attack craft similar to the M2 HMG. Now, quick note, those M2 rounds will penetrate into the MTLBs, but it won't penetrate into the T-72. Now let's go ahead and break down our roster here. For Op4, Vagrant will be commanding. I'm going to be honest, my personal top pick for commanders with an FNF has a really good win-loss ratio, doesn't really do any stupid plans like Piercer Mountain sometimes. He's pretty solid. I'd argue the only better commanders I've seen are people like Flux or Stark or Bay, because they rarely command, but the 1 or 2 times they've done it, they've been perfect at picking how to operate everything. But because they don't command as often, it's a rare treat to see them do it. Vagrant, therefore, is my top choice because he is one of the most common commanders here. Otherwise, Tender being the X-Ray lead, we got Bad Reki, Katarino, Olaf, Revanche, and Kevin under him. Katarino taking the sniper rifle, Revanche taking the AKS with the 45-round magazines, and Kevin also taking the AKS with the 45-round magazines. For this terrain specifically, I'd agree with it. Might be a little useful in Electro to take an AS Val, but it's that Arma 2 level of urban where you still have a lot of big open areas around it, so it's better just to have the 45 round magazines and the you know, extra ammo to do that fire rate on in case you need to go CQC with full auto. Otherwise, Ilvanek leading Alpha HQ. Looks like Alpha has just merged into one single squad instead of being a command team with 2 fire teams. So we got Spiky as one of the team leaders, Tiger with the machine gun, RPK, Lurch as the marksman with the SVD. I also, when I get to Green 4, I think their marksmen are going to be the SVDs as well, but I'll check that in a second. Lennox Wise, Tanner Bro, Saddam, Rust, and Loki all under Alpha as well. Bravo sticking with its 2 fire teams. Doubt squad leading with no team lead and Bravo 1. So we got Booga, N1, Rave Master, Shrek, Zeast, and Bread together in Bravo 1. Bravo 2 has Artisan, Gary Absorb, Space Cowboy Carl, Green Thumb Korvac, and Shrimp. Again, Shrimp a little bit of a wild card. I'll be curious to see what he does today. Charlie HQ. Interesting mix here. We got, I believe, Sideways and Mag. Bayant's gunning. Sideways is driving the Vic, so I can't tell who's specifically squad leading. I think it's Sideways because he has the
yeah, I think it's Sideways.
He's got the GL attachment, but he's driving the Vic, so that's interesting. Mags being the marksman, but Bayant in there, Zoni Twins, Chow, Malarum Shade, Junior, Almtree, Coop, Mr. Rogers, Flux, and Coda there, so a mix of Papega with Bayant in there as well. Katasugi leading Delta HQ as a team with Khan, Clods, Gopher, and Rat, and then Naders, G-Legs, and Mountain taking the tank crew over yonder. So, yeah, most of the tank platoon was taken out. Again, a tank platoon generally 4 vehicles, so that one T-72 survived. They're trying to climb the hill with it. There's no way in hell they're going to climb that hill with that T-72. It's way too steep. But it's going to be fun to see them try. Go! Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it.
I'm gonna sell or something like that.
My money's gonna flip it.
Should be able to unflip it then, just though. So
he might actually make it.
2 hours later.
Yeah, it's gonna be a pain to climb that hill, though. In all honesty.
I'll get better as you get that most steep part.
I mean, based off the AO, though, they're forced to go through the hill because otherwise they just have the MSR and then they'll come into this AO unsupported. So I get why, but dang, no flip. Anyway, that is going to be it. Wise also jumping into Alpha 2. He'll merge with the Alpha group there. But on Green 4 side, real quick, we're going to go look at Green 4's roster here on the uniform. Ah, yes, big letters. Just for me. I love it. The Marksman...
It's the same.
Is also an SVD, yep. Because in the loadout, again, they don't have Marksman rifles listed, so I never know.
I probably should tell Indigo to do that.
I've been trying for weeks. Anyway.
Have you? Okay.
Then again,
listen to me, I guess.
Yes, please. Anyway, I haven't messaged Indigo. I've only been messaging Maz about it, so that might be why I've just been messaging the wrong person. But anyway, going back to the roster information, we got Schult commanding. He's been up and coming under command. Doesn't have as good of a win-loss ratio as Vagrant, but again, that's because he's more so up and coming. I think for this AO, it's a pretty standard defense, but we'll get into the objectives itself and break down the game mode. We got Blam as the 2IC Cheese as the platoon medic, but again, these 3 players are the objectives themselves, so as long as they stay alive, by the time the timer runs out, they win. There's also no room for overtime in this specific type of scenario. But otherwise, Maz leading X-Ray. He's got Falcon, Despo, and Timac together. I'd assume Timac is going to be the sniper. Yep. And Falcon, please tell me you picked the Mark 14. No, you picked an AS Val. Well, Falcon's Ron. I'm sorry to say, but he is Ron. And Despo took a... He's not a suppressed shooter. He's the 2IC because he has a regular 416. Interesting choice with that. They might have a 5th guy coming in, but otherwise Dreek leading Alpha HQ. Anderson, Wheaton Poe, Cosmonaut, Cool Breeze, Miller, and Banks all together under Alpha 1. Bridges leading Alpha 2 with Wiki, Fist, Green Shade, Dan Meep. I almost said Deep. Man, that would have been weird. And Martin. Bravo 1 has Yanni, Perton, Dooley, Waldo, Iander, and Grav with a lack of Nemesis. I wonder where he is. Oh, he's probably this Blank guy under Bravo 2. Chaos, Blank Man, Arcane and Ace, because I can never say the first part of his name right. Nielsen leading Delta HQ, with Delta 1 being led by Montgomery, because you can tell because he has that 320 system, with Herb, Norris doesn't have the machine gun, Garcia and Drake all together, and then Delta 2 has Sablon leading with Sholin, Pinto, and Eagle, and then Steve. Sorry, let me say that better. Steve is by himself in Bravo HQ, and yes, I can never say Kabubi face right. Kablooey face, Kabubi face, what is it?
Kabubi.
Kabubi. I know.
Kabubi?
I can never say it right. I'm sorry. But otherwise, so this is where the Czech recon team was reported last. That's where they got taken out. Otherwise, Green 4 has started sending forces up. We've got Scandi Recon with 4 guys going up north. We have one of the M2 Vics coming up. It's just a regular M2. I don't see the PKT up on the front of it. Oh. So they're keeping that one in specifically for security. But there's 2 yellow zones. If the VIPs stay in the yellow zones, they won't be spotted on the map. If they leave the yellow zones, then OPFOR will occasionally be pinged on the location of the VIP that left the zone so they can find and kill him.
They just missed each other. Row 1 didn't stop, so they couldn't hear the Vics coming down the road.
I just watched 2 MTLBs almost ram into each other. The rear MTLB is just drifting around.
Well, I know from, was that the second round we played? That the desynced.
Oh yeah, that killed the Vic, yeah.
We had good fun.
I'm really surprised they didn't call a 10-minute warning after almost all the forces got wiped, to be honest.
Eight guys.
Yeah, but versus like 40, I'm sorry to say.
To be honest, I didn't know until afterwards. I think it was only me, Banks, on the server. So.
That's fair. Otherwise, Green 4 completely bypassing as OPFOR just charges down the MSR in a nice rush play. This is probably going to be a quicker round, but it's always fun to see them drift the MTLBs. I just saw a tree get taken out. That usually indicates they might flip as well.
So many attacks where, because as soon as they get contact, they go very slow.
Yep. Just saw an MTLB hit one of the trucks. No Arma though. No prediction? There is a prediction. It's actually still counting down. There's like 10 seconds left on it. But Noobish Professor, what's your claim to fame, since I see you got a verified tag next to you? If you don't mind me asking. I always ask any verified profiles that come in my little dojo here. Otherwise, first contact already being spotted. Gopher engaging with some of the apartment complexes. These are custom placed. Anything with a black shadow right here indicates that it's a custom placed building. I'd imagine this is probably custom placed to be the version that you can actually enter, because regular Electro doesn't have, it has this building, but it doesn't have that type of building that you can enter in from DayZ. So OPFOR have pretty much charged right in. It's going to be a little tough here. There's a lot of open area for them to have to maneuver. We'll probably see them rely on their MTLBs for local fire support to help push them up. But if Green 4 have the proper AT, they should be able to pick those vehicles up as they go in. Plus we have...
Recon in Bravo, they literally just went for picnic, it seems. They're all the way up.
Oh yeah, they're way off. And the main fight's already beginning. We still have the tank also coming around. They've had to climb a ridge, so they're going to be probably another 5 minutes out. And then all downhill flat terrain to come in and reinforce. Eventually we'll see this group pull back and potentially hit some vehicles on the rear, but look at this massive smoke push we're seeing. You can in 2020 Cherno, but this is old, you know, Arma 2 Cup ported Cherno. I think specifically Chernarus Autumn based off of the color palette. Summer would be more green and winter would obviously be white. But I like seeing these vehicles charging. I just saw a smoke grenade take out a tree. That's one of my favorite features about this silly game. Should a mine go off somewhere? Might have been over at Alpha 2's position. Then we have another MTLB completely on its own. That's AT bait right there, but Green 4 doesn't have any players nearby to engage it.
Infantry to dismount.
There is no infantry in that one. That's all the way towards the heart of Electro. So I don't know what it's doing over there on its own, unsupported. But then again, that happens all the time. Meanwhile, infantry dismounted by another MTLB. And Martin just knocked most of them out. So he's throwing grenades, but I think the grenades are gonna... Oh, no, they're actually getting there.
He has a full squad in his back.
Yeah. But the smoke's probably gonna obscure the infantry from seeing him. A grenade landing right on top of him, and that knocks him unconscious. A lot of fragmentation just hit his back. But yeah, this is gonna be a quick round, as I said. Green 4 still marauding in the back. I guess they haven't been told that the assault is happening.
They're looking for the tank.
Well, it's literally marked on the map, though, as the armored platoon. So I guess no one just read the silly map and realized. Junior coming up. Is he going to double tap? Nope, Martin just failed his wake-up check. Korvac put some shots in him. Still ragdolling. There's Korvac finishing him off. Looking at the skulls here, we got Dreek, Wheaton, Martin, and Eagle all dead. Blue 4 have lost Flux, Booga, N1, and Ravemaster, and Ilbanek. So, still acceptable losses here because Op4 have that number advantage. But with the amount of Green 4 in the westernmost objective, it's going to be hell to clear that building out, that's for sure.
Saddam has had a good fight.
No friendlies in Cherno.
See if Saddam runs into Nelson here.
I love how there's a blank and naked man at Green 4 spawn, just standing here looking at everything. Are they picking off people up here? No? Sholin firing back at something. Ah, an MTLB just tried to suicide charge in and got stuck up on a trench, and we just heard that tank fire.
Yep. Herber's down.
Naked man should RP. I think you have to add an E to that statement in that case, but anyway, Op4 doing their best to push into the town. It's the western flank. Look what the fuck X-Ray's doing. First off, we have an MTLB that's already crossed over there.
I noticed that.
But now X-Ray's trying to swim it.
I'm not surprised. I'm not sure that's a good position. Like, I understand that you can shoot in if there's, like, people are in buildings and they need to go all the way around. So, it might not be worth it, to be honest.
The really dangerous part
now.
About this attack, though, is Op4 have gotten their foot in the door. They've started getting into the building super close. They're closing the CQC. Normally, when you have an FNF round play out like this, where Op4 is able to, with their number advantage, push in and start engaging at close range, usually the attacker then wins. You could still see some upsets with the PvP itself, but just the sheer amount of guys in the AO is going to make this really difficult. And now you're having that tank fire in with some HE rounds, and it's got some HEAT. I think it's going to be able to deplete all of its rounds before Green 4 are able to fold their forces back that have been hunting it. I mean, it managed to kill a guy and knock out T4 Herb with an HE round, so let's go ahead and actually look at the tank here. Yeah, G-Legs is on 3 kills with that tank with 2 HE rounds that he's fired, so when Herb bleeds out, that's going to be a 4. So great use of an asset, which we rarely see in FNF, no offense. But, yeah, I mean, they're in a great position for it.
I think Rick actually played it last week as well. I had 3 kills as well. So.
Bridge is trying to put some GLs at the Op4 group coming. He's made all of them turn around en route for that. Heard some AT get fired. Don't know where it went. I heard an explosion off to the right, though. But it sounded like a Maz firing. So this western attack has been stalled, but the northern attack's starting to come in. They could pincer the leftmost objective and break it. MTLB engaging someone on the rear and actually taking him out. That was Bay. He's on 2 kills because he's solo crewing that piece. Interesting. But great use of vehicles by Op4 here. Blue 4 just hasn't been able to counter appropriately because they let Op4 rush right in. Now, if Green 4, I might have called them Blue 4, that's not my mistake, but if they had a more staggered defense, they would have probably been able to stop that smoke rush or at least engage them as Op4 rushed right in. So a little bit of a mistake there. I get it, though, with their number count. They want to hold these buildings instead because they're very advantageous for CQC. But now that everything's closing, you see Green 4 now turning around, starting to engage this easternmost group coming in, but that's going to alleviate pressure for the western group to then push. And you're just going to see a pretty nasty pincer close on this as Green 4 is slowly picked off.
Cosmonaut continues here to come up right behind like 6, 7, 8 guys.
Is he able to capitalize on it, though? He doesn't have an AR. There's 2 explosive charges. He does have a little slit here. Knocks out
nice
Spiky
slit.
and Clods.
They won't notice where he's coming from. Oh, Russ killed up.
Oh, Lurch is going to see him. Lennox is going to see him instead. No, they don't.
Holy crap. What the hell happened there?
There were 2 explosive satchels on the corner, and someone decided to detonate it.
That scared the shit out of me. Come on.
I saw them too. I'm like, they're not gonna detonate it. It's too early. But no, they just
kill 3 friendlies there.
Yeah, I don't know who
not sure they
put
got
those
any
down, but I don't want to know.
I don't think they got any up for on it though, because
No,
like,
because,
those guys that were close were already dead because of the push from Cosmonaut.
Yeah, so the little building that's still up that Kane just went in blocked the explosive from killing anyone past it on the southern side. It killed one of the shooters. It was Lennox's battle buddy, but that was I don't even know. But those were just 2 satchels placed on the corner. One would have been enough, but who the heck knows? Who the heck knows? I'm writing that timestamp down. That was pretty funny. All right, so that's made that attack a little less effective, but even then, Green 4 lost quite a bit of men there as well. Rat was also climbing the ladder. I think he actually died to the shockwave reaching him.
Just trying to look. It might have been Cold Breeze over Miller.
Interestingly enough, Cholt has died as one of the VIPs in the opposite area. Blam is still in this area as well in a little modified bunker they made, but I think Tilster is still in this other building. Numbers-wise, you still have those guys on Green 4, Bravo 1, looking for this tank, but they just can't seem to find it, so they've been a little useless. They could come back in later on to defend the VIP at the easternmost objective, but numbers-wise, I think Op4 has this, but it could still turn around if Green 4 is able to really capitalize on this building. Tilster getting breached and killed. So he was the second VIP. So now Op4 just needs to clear that building out and head to the other location. But if we see this easternmost group just fold into the eastern objective, not the westerns actually collapsed on this building, that's going to be all they need. Did one of you just kill a friendly?
If someone is dead, they might have, because there's no info there.
I guess not.
I think they're shooting at the other one, yeah. The next is.
They're going to tell Blam to vacate his spot.
Oh, look at Bravo 1 now. They're right behind the tank.
You know, I'm going to be honest.
Setting up. Yep, there you go.
I think this spot's fair game because you can just throw an explosive in it and kill him. To be honest, it's not that bad of a spot. And I mean, it's clear that there's going to be someone in there. You could just go up and throw an explosive on. I don't see an issue with that, but I get why they're making him do it. Like, compared to the office building where on the rooftop you can only access it from the ladder, that is cheap because there's only one position to access and it's too high to throw explosives on it. But here, you could definitely just throw a satchel in it and be done, or even an explosive charge.
We've actually been trying to work a technical solution with that office building just because, yeah. It's a great building, but
I don't think there is a way. You either block the roof or have it in an AO where enemies can clearly overwatch on like a ridge or something, like other buildings, to engage it. Because otherwise, you're just going to have people camp the top. So a lot of Op4, I think they've realized that they've killed those 2 VIPs because now they're starting to move to the other spot. They don't have any map marker indications to state that they've killed both VIPs, but we just have a lot of Op4 now moving over to the other AO.
Blam is just moving around here, yeah.
let's give him a warm welcome. Still have some Op 4 breaching around in here. Is the tank gone? Yep, it looks like Bravo finally found it and eliminated it, but honestly, by now, it's a little too late. Looks like they turned around and actually blew up one of Green 4's Vics, though, so the tank made them work for it, but that's just going to keep them from coming into the AO as the rest of Op 4 now pushes into the other objective to kill the last VIP. I think we're GG. I'm calling an early GG. There's just way too many Op 4 here, and they just made Blam get out of his one spot. So he has no choice, but...
He's fighting...
Yeah, to hide in a pretty open spot right there, and he's so close to enemy forces. Bayant just had an explosive thrown at him. I think that was an explosive trap that they detonated. But I think it's GG here. I do like how Sablon is trying to get into this MTLB to see if the PKT still works.
Just curious why they were moving all of that up forward towards that last aircraft, but because you could be in any of them.
He could, but they already have Op 4 breaching, so I think they just thought, you know, because they already have, as I said, the western pincer was going, but then a lot of people on the western attack also came with the east to clear this area out, so... and Vagrant's dead, too. He died early on, actually, all the way back here, so, I don't know. At this point, I think people are acting on instinct. Blam is in trouble. Why do you turn away when you have gunshots going out right there? And sideways trades with him, and that's it. GG.
Tank firing.
So maybe due to disconnects or other circumstances, keep fighting until it's have to clear a winner. Yeah, it's GG, though. All three were killed fair and square.
Yep. It took that Matt team way too long to find the tank to make a difference in terms of
the gunner of the tank is still alive and shooting the gun just to piss off the other team. But it's GG. So where's the call? This was a great rush play, by the way. We rarely see rush plays in FNF or OFCRA, but I mean, when they work, man, they work. There's the call.
They did that very, very well.
But I mean, in an AO where you're surrounded by open area, if you come into the outskirts of that open area and you don't take fire, you might as hell go for it. They then dismounted and covered positions, did a smoke charge, and Green 4 was just on two...
They kept moving. Like, that's not